Infinifactory. This is the idiomatic, and I'm in a test zone, and I'm doing some stuff, doing some science. This is for a particular puzzle that I've been working on for quite some time. Let's close that down. And I wanted to test a specific scenario. Basically, I wanted to see what the behavior would be if I welded something at one end and then destroyed the middle, and I wanted to see if the hole would still be connected. And it turns out, so yeah, what you see here is I made 3 of these, welded them all together, pushed them off, made 3 of these, welded them together, pushed them off, and then I connected them at the back. Then I have this counter here, which on the second one will destroy a block. Now it alternates here, but that's not really important. What's important here is that even though I destroyed the block, and even though it was welded at the back, the front is still connected. So basically, when the game considers a piece welded, like the entire piece is welded, it doesn't matter where the origin point was. Like, I think I could actually destroy that piece and it would still be connected. As I know it could, because if you look at the next one, it's still welded at the back. That one's destroyed, that one's destroyed, it's still a full piece. So that's all I needed to know in order to do what I want to do. But to show you what I wanted to do, I need to show you what I've already done. So let's go to the puzzle I was going to show off for today, and that is solar cell array. This was actually the last puzzle that I worked on before I stopped playing the game for a few months. There wasn't any real reason behind it, other than I was sort of obsessed with getting this puzzle down to as few cycles as I could, and I got a little bit of a burnout, so I stopped playing for like a week, and a week turned into a month, and a month turned into a couple of months, and I just stopped playing. But I'm back. I've actually worked on a little bit of this. I'm up to Space Buoy. Yeah. Last one I did was Life Support System. And I have something I want to work on for that, but that's for another video. This one I wanted to show off what I was doing here and what was driving me nuts. Alright. The first thing you need to know about this puzzle is that you need to take this thing, which for the purpose of this video I'm just calling it a satellite, and you got these solar cells on top of it, or on the sides of it. And what happens is you need to take these and turn them into vertical columns that get put onto a platform, 5x5 platform. Tricky thing about it is the welding, because there's no really good way to get that middle block welded. Now you might be able to see where I was going with that experiment, but for now let's just see what I did. So that gets lasered off, you get 4 blocks, they turn into columns, and they come down here. Now, because it's so hard to get that middle one done, I just did them in slices of 2. And I've got this falling welder that welds the middle block. And so these parts get welded together. Once it detects that there's enough, it sends it out, cuts off the end. Pretty straightforward. And this just makes sure that they're all separated and getting in each other's way. This entire line right here is to prevent this lifter from affecting the base. So showing the whole thing. But this is, oh yeah, one little thing I'll show. This is timed so that once this bit falls down here, yeah, it triggers this to push this down. And once it makes its weld, it comes back, goes off, and is ready for the next one. Yeah, does what it needed to do. The second solution, I believe I worked on this one at max speed. So to do that, I had to find a way to get these out without any interruption. And this is what I came up with. So as soon as this hits this spot, it pushes the one that is spawning over here, gets rotated, and doesn't interrupt the next one. Yeah, there are exactly 3 blocks in between that. Where's that 2? Huh. Wow, it's faster than I thought. Anyway, it works. Makes the blocks, and because I was making so many, I did 2 sets of columns dropping down, which required me to make this so I took a 5 slice and I cut it into 3 in 1 so that I was welding 4s at the end. So I have 2 sets of falling welders, one on each side. Good job. I got rid of that whole timing thing that I had over here. I think most of it is collected in here. Most of that line that was keeping everything in place is gone. No, it wasn't really making any blocks because it was all platforms. But yeah, this worked. But I was still having a overflow problem where I had to destroy a number of columns. So this is pretty good, but obviously I did better. So let's see how I did that. So I changed this around, but I don't think it was actually necessary. Yeah, what I had before, when I was testing something, I wanted to get rid of the need to destroy the column here. So with each one that was made, I was destroying an individual block, like just one. But as I worked out how to reconfigure the base, I got rid of that, so I was making 4. So I should go back to the old one, but it's not important right now. It still did end up being faster. As you can see here, I have 3 spaces, so I'm actually making all 3 pieces for this at the same time, but it's still in 2 separate pieces. And for this one, I'm doing 3 in 2. So the first 3 are in the front, 2 is in the back, and you'll see what this does in a little bit, but let's watch it. So I cut off 5, cuts into 3 and 2. This waits right here. And what happens here is these get dropped down. That gets dropped down a little bit later. That's out. Once that's away from this sensor area, it lets this one through. This right here is entirely to delay this enough to get this one here so that there isn't a huge gap between when this gets sent out and when this one gets made and when this one gets sent out, so that this one can come through as fast as possible. one other thing. Well, for one, I'm using a sensor here because, I got it from the following set of puzzles. It's just a block you get for... Do you get it for completing it, or for just doing the first puzzle? Like watching it or trying to do it? I don't know. Either way, I have it now, so I might as well make use of it. This right here, and on the other side, this right here, are to make sure that this next block doesn't get cut too early or blocked too early. So you can watch one of these go. So this is normal. It gets cut right here. That goes through. That weld happens. This weld happens, right? And now this one's open. If this wasn't here, this welder, or not welder, this pusher would be in this spot and would prevent the next one from going through, like this one right here. On this side, if these two sensors weren't here to detect that there's a block in this space, then this laser would trigger. Like, so this retracts this sensor, which affects this laser. If this wasn't here, that laser would go off right there. But it still needs a cycle to move forward, which prevents a whole bunch of messy things from happening. So this moves on, and it's very nice. A couple things about the welding setup on the sides here. This one welds right here to right here, and what this ended up doing was allow me to take this, or to take the welder that was here and put this sensor here instead, which saved a whole bunch of conduits. And the same thing over here. Since there's no columns before this point, you can put one right here and connect it right here. It used to be the same as the one on the other side. What that did was, I needed this this pusher here, and before I had to have a bunch of conduits go up and about and around it, but putting it right there just saved, because I could just send the line straight down. And another thing that was changed was, instead of having these move backwards and then still obstruct this as it's going, basically this can't move until this had cleared all the way up. Instead, I moved it to the side, and all it has to do is clear this space right here, which just allows it to move through faster. And you still have a block or a conveyor right here that allows it to move through, and this is obstructed by most of this. Is that right? Huh. Well, either way it works. Oh no, it's obstructed by this right here. That's right. Because this can't pass over here, there's no way for it to go over to the side. That way it's forced to go straight through. And that's how that works out. So this is a nice solution. It's a lot faster than the other ones, but there are problems. Particularly, if you come up here, you'll see that I still have overflow. So the problem that's been present throughout all the solutions that I have so far is still a problem. This is where they were coming out, so I just put a lifter here because it saves on, what is it? It saves on footprint. But it's still a problem that I need to address. Alright. So, solutions for or ideas for improving this in the future. Um, One of the things I can do is expand this from 3 to 4. And what that would do is I would do 2 sets of 2 and then stitch them together like I did in the earlier solutions. Uh, Problem with that is the 3-in-1 setup that I had in the second solution, there's really not enough space for that. What I think I could do is just do a 4, and if you saw in the beginning when I had that conveyor that just slid right off, that was one of the ideas I had for it. But in retrospect, I don't even need to do that. Actually, I totally could do that. Wait, could I? No, it would have that same problem. Alright, so that wouldn't work. But the other idea, which is the main portion of that testing scenario, was that I could take an extra one of these blocks, attach the middle, attach 2 columns, and have them welded like just on the side, and then destroy the block that's right here. And it would still be welded. So in theory, I could create all, I could make the entire thing in one go and then just get rid of the one block that's extra. And math-wise, I think it works out too, because you have 9 times 3, which is 27, and these come out in 4s. So if you make 7 of these, you have 28. So you take that one extra block and you figure out a way to weld one of the middle sections, have them all in one spot, drop them at the same time, do the weld, and then destroy that one block. And so that's what I'm thinking is going to be the next step of this puzzle, or of my solutions. We'll see if it actually pans out. I initially tried testing with using platform blocks, these right here, but they can't be destroyed. I think that was a change made because of giant rotating arms, but I wanted to see exactly how the mechanics of that worked, and it turns out that you can't laser or eviscerate them, at least if they're attached to one of the input blocks. You might be able to destroy them otherwise, because if you couldn't, I don't think that the giant rotating arms that are right now would work. So yeah, this one's still a work in progress, but there has been progress, and I'm happy with that. So I will try to get an update on this if I actually do manage to work something out that's better. But for now, I am signing off, so see ya.